Holy cow, it's time for a video. I know you guys are excited. I sure am. Can you tell in the face area? Can you see the excitement? Vogue? Nothing? I'm a lot older than you guys, so yeah. Okay, so let's not have me embarrass myself with weirdness anymore. Or at least not for now. We'll find time later. Let's talk about protein. Oh my gosh. You know what? Protein? Pretty cool. I know you're like, no. But it is. You're made of protein, so I mean, it's got to be pretty cool. Remember, proteins are made of amino acids, and there's about 20 different amino acids. Okay, phone, chill out. There's about 20 different amino acids, and you can think of amino acids almost like letters in the alphabet. So, like, we have 26 letters in our alphabet, and we can make all imaginable sorts of words. Well, if there's 20 different amino acids, they can connect in all these different crazy sorts of ways to create all these different proteins. And proteins, that's why they do this huge variety of jobs in our body and in other living things. We can't synthesize, I think there's 9 amino acids our body can't make. Don't quote me on that. I literally have to look it up, and I didn't because I just thought about it. So there's a number of amino acids our bodies cannot make, which means we have to eat them. That's why we need to eat food. And most of the proteins that we get come from meat. So this is nothing against vegan or vegetarianism, but if you choose to go that route, you're going to need to find plant-based substitutes that have those amino acids in them that your body needs that you can't make. And most of them, like I said, come from animals. So it's going to be a challenge. That's why people who are vegan and vegetarian need to be very cautious about what they eat and eat certain foods. It's like a good, responsible choice to make to be vegetarian or vegan. I'm not, because I like meat. But in the world itself, it's a good choice to be vegan or vegetarian. Less, large mega farms. We're not talking about local farms. Like, we need those. Less of these mega farms that don't treat their animals properly. Less waste from the animals. Actually, you get technically more calories per gram if you're going to eat vegetables. Yeah, okay, that went off on a tangent. Sorry. Big surprise. Miss Self talks too much. Okay, sorry. I have a lot to tell you. Anyway, so we have lots of different proteins. They do lots of different jobs in our bodies. We're going to talk about enzymes. Wow, get excited. Are you excited? I get excited about these kind of things. And if you're not, hey, get excited about something. Come on now. Okay, so we've got enzymes. Enzymes are also often called catalysts. A catalyst is something that makes something else happen. If you're reading an English class, they might talk about a catalyst in a story or a movie. It's something that maybe makes the main character do something or causes an action to happen. So enzymes catalyze reactions. They make reactions happen faster. We're going to talk about that. They make up most of the animal cell. That's our cells. So that's what a lot of our cells are made out of. They can be hormones that send signals. They're your muscles. I want to show you guys my muscles. It'll break the computer if you actually see how powerful I am. It's all that brain working out. Anyway, it can be hemoglobin that carries oxygen. So it can be the antibodies that fight off different diseases in your body. So proteins have many different jobs, and the jobs they have really all are dependent on the amino acid sequence that makes up that protein. We're going to focus on a lovely group of proteins called enzymes. There's one right there. Look at that handsome enzyme. Okay, so they're very special proteins, and they can either build or break another molecule. A lot of times when I'm just working, I'll show kids break. It's broken. No, my grass. Or build. Okay, all better. So in this case, you can think of my hands. In this case, are like the enzyme. So how do the enzymes work? Well, they have a special structure or shape that works and fits with really only one, we'll call that ingredient, a substrate. Okay, so if you want to write down some important notes for yourself, you can have enzyme, which is a protein that builds or breaks other molecules, or you could say it's a catalyst, or you could say it makes reactions happen faster. Then we have our substrate. That's the molecule that goes into the enzyme. So if I'm going to use this pen, it's a pen, by the way, right? Isn't that cool? It looks like grass. I've got a bunch of them. Actually, wish you guys were here this year because the whole set of pens looks like a little forest. It's so cute. I've got cute stuff sometimes. This time is a cute thing. So use this bright green pen, this bright green grass pen, to be our substrate. Okay, the substrate you can think of as the ingredient. What goes into the enzyme? In this case, it's this little green, just like this, semicircle, sort of, and triangle. And look, it kind of fits really well into the enzyme. That part where the substrate and the enzyme fit together is called the active site. Okay, so these are like important words that you should know. Enzyme, substrate, active site, products. So the enzyme will enter into the substrate. They'll join together. It's not like a big bond where it's stuck there. It's just like a little like fitting in. A good example that's always used is they're like a lock and a key. Okay, I can't take my house key and put it into my classroom door. It won't unlock. But I can put it in the door to my house and unlock my front door. Okay, I can't take any old substrate and put it into any enzyme. They have to fit together like a lock and a key. And once they fit together, we call that the enzyme substrate complex. Scientists feel the need to name everything. Like everything has a name. Okay, so when the enzyme and substrate are together, just like you can think of like this, like when you put your key in your front door to unlock it, that's called the enzyme substrate complex. So the enzyme and substrate kind of match up and give each other a little hug. Isn't that cute? Okay, but then the cool stuff happens. The enzyme's going to make the reaction of that thing breaking happen faster. Okay, I mean, I guess if I like left this pen out for like 100 years, yeah, eventually maybe the cap will fall off. Some of these reactions, like this one here, could totally happen. It might take a really long time for this substrate to break down into products. It might happen quickly. It might happen really slowly. It might need a lot of energy to do that. The enzyme lowers the amount of energy needed for that breaking apart to happen, so it happens much faster. That's why enzymes are important to our body. If we didn't have enzymes to catalyze, that means make the reaction happen. If we didn't have enzymes to make the reaction happen, then the chemical reactions that we need in our body to keep us alive, good gracious. I'm getting blown up. This is why I need a video editor. Somebody help edit my videos. I'll pay you in, I don't know, extra credit points or something. Anyway, the energy needed to make that happen gets lowered when you use an enzyme. If we just waited and we had no enzymes and we waited for those life reactions to happen, we die. They wouldn't happen fast enough for us to remain alive. So that's why we need enzymes. Thanks, enzymes. So let's kind of go over. We have our substrate. We have our enzyme. The enzyme enters into the active site of the brain. You need to speak correctly. This is not why I need a video editor. The substrate enters into the active site of the enzyme. Now we have our enzyme substrate complex. The enzyme is going to catalyze this reaction, and we're going to end up with our products. Okay, in this case, it's an uncapped pen and a cap. Enzymes can also take two substrates and put them together and make a product. Like they could build. So enzymes can build or break. The products are what comes out at the end. In this case, it could be like glucose and galactose if we're breaking down lactose. So that's how enzymes work. If you look over here, we can say that they lower the activation energy of this reaction. So if you know a little bit about chemical reactions, a lot of them need energy to occur. Okay, like if you're baking, that's chemistry. If you're cooking or baking, you're going to put ingredients together, mix them up, and then you're going to put them in the oven and they're going to heat up and they change. Okay, like if you have batter, you can kind of tell like, well, yeah, it sort of still looks like sugar and flour a little bit and maybe like some eggs or something. But once you bake it, it changes. It's not the batter anymore. It's become like a cake or a cookie. So that's a chemical reaction. We needed to put in energy for that to happen. We needed to add heat energy for it to happen. Chemical reactions need energy, like heat energy, to happen. Enzymes lower that energy so it can happen faster, right? That's why the reactions can happen faster. How about let's talk about enzyme denaturation. So here we have a lovely enzyme. It's going to match with this square substrate. Cool. Well, enzymes work best at a certain temperature, at a certain pH, at a certain salinity. Salinity means how much salt is there. So we call those conditions, they're optimum. Optimum means best. So enzymes, just like how you work the best, maybe your best is like at night when no one's around and it's kind of quiet. Maybe your best is like in the morning before like when everyone else is kind of sluggish, but you feel good. Maybe your best is like me, like kind of in the middle of the day where you're like, okay, I'm not tired anymore. I got some food in me. I've been thinking, I've been working. Now I feel pretty good. So we all have our own optimum conditions that we work in. Well, so do enzymes. If we change their optimum, like if we make it too hot, too cold, we change the pH. Remember, pH is like acidic, like coffee or soda is acidic, or basic. Things like soaps can be basic. We change that pH. We add too much salt or take away some salt. Well, the enzyme will change. It actually gets all unhappy. In fact, if an enzyme gets too hot, it kind of gets like all limpy and wimpy. It stops working. So what could happen is if we change the optimum, if we make the temperature too high, well, the enzyme's active site will be deformed. Then the substrate won't fit in, and the enzyme can't do its job. Sad face. That's called denatured. Okay, so denaturing means an enzyme losing its shape due to being outside of its optimum conditions. What else did I want to tell you about enzymes? Because there was something else. We talked about optimum, we talked about denaturing, we talked about activation energy, we talked about lock and key. Oh no, I don't have an editor to like help me out with this one. And I didn't write a script because that takes too much time. Oh yeah, okay. So this is kind of good timing, right? If you get sick, like you have a virus or bacteria that's infecting you, what happens to you? Well, sometimes you get a fever. Oh. And I'm sure you think the fever is caused by the disease. It's not. Your body gives yourself the fever. Why? Your body is trying to denature the proteins of that bacteria or virus that's infecting you, hoping to denature it so it stops infecting you. The bad thing is, and this is why fevers can be dangerous if you have them very high or for a long time, they could denature your own proteins. So now you learned something. You learned something about your own body. And you learned, hopefully, please, something about enzymes. I hope that helped. But you can always ask questions, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.